The protests on college campuses are specifically related to U.S. tax dollars and weapons going to Israel as they bomb the civilians in Gaza. And so we called for a permanent ceasefire very early on. 69% of the district supports a permanent ceasefire. The majority of Americans support a permanent ceasefire. My opponent is standing with Benjamin Netanyahu and continuing the onslaught of innocent civilians in Gaza.
Okay, let me get to our last viewer question. Scott Dubin is here.
He's accused me of something. I have to respond to it.
Go ahead,
I don't stand
go
with Benjamin Netanyahu. I stand with the hostage families. Those people should have their hostages returned. That's an essential part of what has to happen in the Middle East.
Okay.
We
Scott
call
Dubin,
for the
your
hostages
question.
to be
You can
returned
call it all
multiple
you want.
times.
You have to
Let's
make it part of the
listen to
deal.
our question
It is
from
part
Scott
of the deal.
Dubin.
We said that already.
Not when you call for an immediate ceasefire.
You gotta stop lying, man.
No, you're the one that's lying, dude. You set a record for lying.
Yeah.
Scott Dubin has been patient.
I grew up on the south side of Mount Vernon. My mom and dad had to quit school during the Depression, and they went off. My dad went off to war. My mother went off to a factory, and that's how they worked their blue-collar life. They were able to give my sister and myself a better chance at life. We worked hard to get ahead, and that story is an American story. I have neighbors who are African American who have the same story. I have friends who are white. I have friends who are Latino. Same story. We have to view the needs of this county and the county of the Bronx together as a universal story, not picking out pieces to try to speak to a base of voters to try to animate them. I go to Washington if you send me, and I'll work as hard as I did when you sent me to Albany, as hard as I have done as a county executive. Whatever he's tried to misrepresent the record, you know the record that we've had in Westchester County. It's an exemplary record. It's not perfect, but that's the kind of congressman I'm going to be. I'm not worried about who gives me donations. I'm worried about whether or not I can achieve anything in a system that's broken.
Thank you, Congressman. You have the same amount of time, 1 minute.
My opponent is in the pocket and bought and paid for by AIPAC, the largest recipient of AIPAC money in the country, okay? AIPAC is funded by the same Republicans who supported insurrectionists, the same Republicans who are against voting rights, who are against reproductive rights. We don't take money from special interests because we represent the working class people of the district, particularly those most marginalized, neglected, and left behind by my opponent and many others who have been in office for far too long. Okay. Why do black and I'm looking at the time. I got more time. No?
No, you don't, sir.
Okay.
That's your 10
these
seconds
are close.
passed.
Are these
we
not
are
close?
out of time.
Out of time.
The hour is complete. I
92%
apologize.
of
whoa,
this
whoa,
money
whoa, whoa,
comes
whoa,
from
whoa, whoa,
shady
whoa.
sources.
I've got to wrap up.
Look it up.
Gentlemen, I've
You
got to
can't
wrap
watch
up
an
the
attack
show.
in the
Thank
clothes.
you all so much for
You gotta have
joining
a
us at
defense for
home
it.
and for sending